The bottle-fed fast-track flyers have come to Sanford, North Carolina to battle for some quick cash. And those who dare to touch this Tar Heel clay are truly part of a gnarly history. Day 2 here in Sanford, North Carolina brings us beautiful weather and the Gnarly Nitrous Shootout. Once a year, the big cubic inch bottle-fed flyers get their chance to till the Tar Heel loam. Some will do it with the bigger diggers like you see here, the paddle tires. Some will do it with cut tires. We have some full-bodied machines. We have some high center of gravity machines. We have some massive cubic inch hot rods like you see here. Yesterday, they shared the track with the blower motor machines that you now see are headed over to put it on the trailer. If you didn't see that action, it was awesome. We broke records in that class, and now the Gnarly Nitrous machines will get ready to take their shot in the spotlight. We're going to open up with a family of this sport. The King family, Katie King driving for her father John, who you see walking off the starting line there out of Summer Duck, Virginia. 625 cubic inch Chevy powered rear engine rail with nitrous called Pure Aggravation. There you see Paul Palmer, the other half of Katie King's operation here. Used to drive a vehicle called the Show in the open class. Let's see what she can do to open the class here. .292 to set the pace, not quite what she was looking for. Rolled off the start a little bit, wanted that instant bite, didn't quite get it, but didn't have to worry about blowing the tires off as she opens things up with a solid run, but I don't think it will hang in for the number 1 spot. She'll come back in session 2, though, and we're going to look at her there now. Jay Leach of Jacksonville, North Carolina, and the Nutramax Performance Nutrition sponsored Chevrolet 632 cubic inch big block Chevy built by P&M Performance in this 83 K10 Chevrolet. We've seen Jay before. Picking the front end up. Walking the dog on that run. 3:00. Not a bad time considering he had to pedal that thing to get the front end back down. But let's watch it again. Jay Leach turning them on here in Sanford. Stands it up, and look at the people in the back on the side-by-side stopping to take a look. A wild ride getting things underway here with the Gnarly Nitrous Shootout. We'll have more coming up for you in just a moment. Stay with us. More from Sanford.
This presentation is brought to you by Monsters Monthly, your place for photos, videos, event info, and all the happenings in the monster truck industry. Visit monstersmonthly.com. And by Crush This. For a weekly look inside the wide world of monster trucks, check out Crush This, a Monster Truck podcast. Available on Facebook, Spotify, and YouTube.
This special presentation has been brought to you in part by Northwood Transfer for your freight and shipping needs.
Hey, welcome to Wild Man Adventures. For the Silver Lake Sand Dragway. There really wasn't any off-roading back then. It was all off-road. We're on our way to Lima, Ohio. Got wooden wheels.
Oh, it's slippery as all get out.
Hey, we're here with Rich Cummins. Hey, we're here with Mike Potter.
Hey, we're here with Alan Pizzo.
Gotta check it out. This week we're going to go down memory lane.
This program is brought to you by RPM Army. For a wide array of content from across the motorsports world, visit rpmarmy.com. Your high-performance fix on the go.
Back in Sanford, North Carolina, the crowd's still rolling in. We have a ton of action still to get to, as the fastest of the fast will be coming up in the deep pit later this afternoon. Right now, though, we continue our action with the Gnarly Nitrous Shootout. J.R. Chandler out of Ewell, Alabama. Little Twister, the small block Ford-powered 85 Ranger. We have seen this guy do well here before. He's going after Katie King's number. Right now, we'll see if he can better the run she laid down at 2:92. Decent shot. He got out quick, and he does better. Katie King, a 2:60 with a 6 for J.R. Chandler. Nice straight run right there. The vehicle didn't walk around too much. Found him a groove and seems to go right down the track. Pulled to the right just a little bit, so that lengthened the distance that he went to that finish line, but he'll clean that up in session 2, and I guarantee you he'll be ultra fast. Did that on cut tires, by the way. Now we'll get another vehicle with the paddle tires. This is Jeff Munn out of the state of Maine in the Invader. 632 cubic inch machine. Running much better today than he did yesterday. A 2.79 on the paddle tires, so Chandler will remain on the top. As you see Munn bleed off the nitrous right there. He's having a little trouble with that power plant this weekend. He'd like to clean up, but we'll see if he can do so for session 2. Now Tyler Elliott out of Woodford, Virginia in the altered wheelbase Jeep called Domestic Violence. Launching quick. 2:32 to take the number 1 spot. A little gray Jeep out of the Old Dominion. Looking good here in session 1. As he just made it a little bit harder on the guys behind him. Don't know a whole lot about this machine, but he's been quick here this weekend. Again, ran in what is basically an unlimited class yesterday for the Blown Alcohol Madness Cut Tire Division and did very well there. Now, legend in the sport with a new machine to us, the Outcast, Larry Corbiel out of Cold Country, Constantine, Michigan. Plant in the rear end. Look at him standing on the nose, coming through the finish line there at 265 for Corbiel in the Michigan-based Ford-bodied machine, which I believe is big block Chevy powered. But watch him plant the horsepower. A decent run. Remember, he's going to bring this thing over to the deep pit that you see just to the left of this track at the bottom of your screen there. And again, look at him standing on the nose. Trying to get around Tyler Elliott right now. Wasn't able to do it. So Tyler Elliott's 2-3 will stand. Justin George now out of Franklin, Georgia. Here's a guy who could win the whole thing. This is a family that owns one of the most legendary pieces of real estate in Southeast mud racing, the old Deer Creek Motorsports Park. You see Father Rick George running off the line. He also drives this car from time to time. But Justin going to try to walk around the class here and Shoot to Thrill. Massive cubic inch engine in the back of this thing, tuned by Billy Albert. Out of the state of Virginia, the vehicle, of course, out of Franklin, Georgia. Definitely quick. Let's see. Oh, yeah, he definitely didn't even have to say it. A 2:00 with a 6 for Justin George. Using all of the horsepower in that massive 959 cubic inch Billy Albert tuned race engine. 2023 racing in the dirt rear engine chassis. He's done very well on the MRA series. Going to come back this year and try to shoot for a class victory in the modified division. It's the Nitrous class of the MRA. And now, back on the line with another legend of the sport, Sunbury, Ohio's Todd Franklin. Hillbillies on alcohol, the 27 Ford Roadster on the Mud Missile chassis with a 632 cubic inch big block Chevrolet with a single stage nitrous system. Solid run, a 2.28 will put him in second place. Saw him lift the front end, and it didn't walk around on him too much. He's definitely a guy who can get the job done here this week. And remember, they're going to come back for a second session, try to better not only their own time, but they're going to try to better whoever's sitting on top of this thing. Carrying the front end nicely. Didn't stand it up too bad. These are four-wheel drive machines, but they tend to stand on those rear tires, but you do need four-wheel drive to pull you out of disaster sometimes, as Richard Dunovan rolls out of Halifax, Virginia in the AMC-powered Tiger. Quick run right there. What did he do? A 2:01. Jumps into second place. So he is definitely coming after Justin George as we jump our way through the first half of Session 1. Right now, we've still got quite a few vehicles left in the class, and we'll have that action coming up for you in just a moment. But the rear-engine Shoot the Thrill rail out of Franklin, Georgia, sits on top, followed by that guy, Richard Dunovitz. Stay with us. More to come from Sanford.
This presentation is brought to you by Pioneer Pole Buildings. Looking for reliable strength on your next building project? You want a partner as tough as the task ahead. Pioneer Pole Buildings. Built for you, built to last for over 25 years.
Welcome back to the Lee County Mud Motorsports Complex in Sanford, continuing with the Gnarly Nitrous Shootout as Ronnie Lee Garner comes out of Newport, North Carolina, home of the Little Dew Mud Pit. This is the Lone Ranger. See what he can do here. Walking around on him a bit off the starting line, runs a 3:34. Not going to get to the top of the class. A much higher center of gravity vehicle than some of the others here. And again, this thing was built to run in the sandy pits around the Outer Banks. So it's definitely made good use of its ground clearance over the years, running in places, like I said, like Little Dew out there in Newport. So see if he can get that thing a little quicker in Session 2. But an awesome machine. If you ever get a chance to see it run the deeper pits, it does a great job. And Garner's definitely no stranger to victory lane now. Out comes a vehicle that we don't have much info on. This is Jeremy Preston and Hillbilly Time Bomb, also out of the state of Michigan. See what he can do is get a little help from the Corbiel family with what is a fairly new vehicle. Let's see what he can do with it. Solid run right there at 266. He's going to be looking for a little more speed, but he was bouncing around off the starting line as well. Let's pull up our next machine. Self-inflicted, Wayne Bonneker out of House Springs, Missouri. This is one of the fan favorites in this sport. 814 cubic inch Sonny's power plant, built partially by John Conkle out of Kentucky. And, you ever watch these big cubic inch classes, you know the name John Conkle. He'll build some massive horsepower. Definitely capable of getting the job done. Moving quick, a 204. Can't get around Justin George, but is knocking on the back door. Wayne Bonneker moving quick, shorter wheelbase than what you saw Justin George go down the track with, and it's really neat to see this vehicle on paddle tires because we're used to seeing it on cut tires. Runs in the MRA, usually on the cut tires in the Outlaw Pro Stock and Modified division. Now out here, the Gnarly Nitrous Shootout on paddles, and here's the other half of this team, Chris Bonneker. This is Havoc. 705 cubic inch cast iron, big block Chevrolet. An Induction Solutions Nitrous setup on it, and you see Uncle Wayne back on the starting line, lining Chris up. Also want to thank the Bonneker family for sponsoring us down here this weekend. See what he can do with another John Conkle built power plant. What was the time? 2:09. Again, not able to get around Justin George, but they're right there. They're in the ballpark. Just need to take off a couple hundredths to get by Justin George, but the Bonnickers laying down their best shot, and again, it's so cool to see those machines out here on the paddle tires. They look awesome. Again, as we are so used to seeing them on the cut tires. Now, a guy who's won here before and actually does very well in the blower class with this machine on cut tires against the cut tire blower vehicles, which should outpace him by a mile, but he still does very well with a 960 cubic inch Sonny's power plant. This is Keith Mitchell out of the Keystone State, the legendary Mudgician, purging the nitrous, trying to get just the right amount in the system so he can feed the flame there, creating a little bit more of an oxygenated atmosphere in the combustion chamber. Make a bigger flame, he can feed more fuel to it. Let's see what he can do. He could knock off George right here. Made an interesting move, a 192 though. That little sachet off the starting line doesn't hurt him at all. A 192 for Mitchell, the Mudgician, doing what it does best. From point A to point B in less than 2 seconds. From a dead stop on this dirt is very impressive. Now, as Jason Massey rolls out of Fraser's Bottom, West Virginia, he has won here before. He is a record holder in this sport, the second-rate outcast. 828 cubic inch aluminum block Chevy. See what he can do with it. Multi-time champion, again, a record holder in the class. He was moving quick, but he just did some dollar damage. A 195 with an 8, but you saw the fire and smoke. He has just destroyed that engine. You could see it coming apart as he headed down the track. He couldn't see that back there. He just stayed on the horsepower, but if you watch it again, you're going to see it start spitting smoke and then belching flame. There's actually material coming out of the headers, and I do believe that he just detonated that motor very badly, but he'll take it back to the pits. He laid down a tough time to beat. Stay with us. More to come from Sanford, North Carolina.
The world-famous C60 Cyclops. The infamous Dodge Carryall, unnamed and untamed. Get yourself a one-of-a-kind toy of a mudbogger turned monster truck at freedomracingmt.com.
Quick groom before we head into session 2, and we did get word Jason Massey did indeed detonate that engine, so that is the end of the day here for Massey. He's going to have to work hard to get that thing ready for the 2024 MRA Championship season that he is registered for, so we'll see if he comes back. Love watching Jason run, and he was going after this guy, Keith Mitchell, who is sitting on top of this thing now with that 192, but Massey definitely locked himself in the money there, as he is going to be very, very hard to get around with that 195, even in second place. But here's a guy who could push that clock even further. Keith Mitchell, again, 960 cubic inches with a 4-stage nitrous system, and you saw what he's capable of. He gets down there in that unlimited territory. Not going to do it with that, though. He had to let out of it big time as it made a hard right-hand turn at 291, but I don't know that he's going to be that worried about it, considering the run that he laid down in session 1. But you see it picks up on the wheelie bar and it unloaded the chassis. He's driving off of that left rear, and it made it make a right-hand turn. Didn't want to get into the guardrail, so he wisely let out of the throttle. Set it down kind of hard, but it doesn't look like he hurt any parts as Chris Bonnicker rolls out now in the Chevrolet out of Missouri Havoc. He made a move off the line also, a 209 with a 3 for Bonnicker in Havoc, so he runs back-to-back identical times. He's consistent today, if nothing else, and the vehicle made a move on him there. That makes me think he was going to be right in the winning territory. Had it not made that little move to the left, he probably would have had a sub 2-second run in a short wheelbase vehicle. Now Wayne Bonnecker back on the line and self-inflicted. See what the little orange pickup out of the Show Me State can do. Solid run. Not going to get by him, though. A 2:01 for the bright orange Chevrolet out of House Springs, Missouri. Again, very capable of getting down there. I don't know that the starting line is still there. As we get later in the day, the soil will start to change, and that's something you have to contend with. And it's getting a little bit warmer out here, and the hotter it gets, the less any racing motor likes the atmosphere. Now, here comes the AMC-powered Tiger out of Virginia. Really RPM in that motor. He was moving fast. What did he do? 2:07. So a bunch of these guys running with the more full-body looking vehicles, kind of taking shots at these rear-engine rails that are known for being the dominators in a class like this. They're showing it can be done with this other style vehicle. Now, this thing is more closely related to a front-engine rail, but it's not quite. It ran in a couple different classes. It's been converted over the years to its current form now as the Michigan-based Hillbilly Time Bomb rolls back to the line. Jeremy Preston again walking around, coming off the starting line. 275 for the gray Chevrolet out of Cold Country, and I guarantee you they're going to be looking to retune that thing a little bit, kind of take some of that bounce out of the chassis. It's not carrying the weight the way he wants it to. He's not able to plant the horsepower quite as abruptly as he would like. Once it gets a hold of the track, it's definitely moving, but again, you'll see it right here. Picked up the front end, plants the rear, and it's bouncing coming off the starting line, and that is taking away from the straight shot that he needs. Here's a guy who had a similar problem in session 1, Ronnie Lee Garner. Again, North Carolina regular. Not going to do it in the Lone Ranger, the little blue Ford out of Newport. 226. Beautiful truck, by the way, and again, take nothing away from him. He has definitely gotten his share of wins over the years in the mud pits down here in North Carolina, but here on the fast track, he might be a little outgunned by machines like this. Todd Franklin putting the visor down now. Hillbillies on alcohol, taking its second shot. See that puff off the starting line. He was running rich at 233, not even close to what he was trying to do with it. And again, a vehicle that was definitely capable of picking up a win here this weekend. But again, he slowed down. He ran a 228 in session 1, now a 233 here in session 2. So Franklin moving quick, but not quick enough here in Sanford now. Shoot to Thrill, trying to get past Keith Mitchell. Ran a 2:00 in session 1, a 195 here in session 2, so he drops into the sub 2-second category. Still, though, not able to walk around the magician, but nothing to be ashamed of there. Justin George out of Franklin, Georgia. The Racing in the Dirt built Shoot to Thrill. Going to end up probably in about 3rd place, and we'll see if he can hang in there as Tyler Elliott rolls out of Woodford, Virginia now in domestic violence. See what he can do here at the end of the session. Quick run, but not going to be quick enough. A 237 for Tyler Elliott. Again, they're just looking for that little bit more, and they're definitely getting outgunned by some of the biggest horsepower in the class right now, but taking their shot at it, carrying that left front tire. You can see the torque of that thing twisting that chassis and twisting it on those rear springs. So we'll see now what Ewell, Alabama's J.R. Chandler can do. Good run for the Ranger, but again, definitely not going to be enough. A 269 with a 6 for J.R. Chandler. He ran a 260, so he stays pretty consistent here this afternoon in the small block powered Ford out of the southern Midwest. Doing a nice job here this weekend. He always shows up with a very competitive vehicle here, but this year just getting outgunned. Now Jay Leach headed back to the line out of Jacksonville, North Carolina. He had the wildest ride of Session 1. Like to keep it on the ground here in Session 2. Got the front end on the ground quicker that time. Drove way through the finish line, but a 270 not going to do it. But he made some fans here this weekend with runs like that. It's an awesome machine. It's another one that we've seen out at Little Do, and it's a very capable championship level vehicle. It's gotten plenty of wins in the pits here on this fast track with the help of KCD Tuning, trying to get it kind of ironed out to run in conditions like this. But you can see might need to make a few adjustments to get that thing to transfer weight a little differently as our final competitor rolls out. She was our first of the day. Katie King leaving a lot of material there on the starting line with a 256. She will not get past Keith Mitchell. So Keith Mitchell will once again take a championship here at the Gnarly Nitrous Shootout. He's done it before, did it in 2022. Mitchell so fast on this track. A 192, pair of 195s in second and third. A thousandth of a second separated those guys. And then you see Wayne Bonacker and Richard Donovan, class of the field here this weekend. Those guys were running ultra quick. It has been a great day so far here in Sanford. We're not done though. What everybody came to see is coming up next time. The fastest of the fast in the deep pit when we see you next time from here in Sanford.
This Back Channel Productions presentation has been brought to you by Gemini Associates. Whether you live upstairs, downstairs, or anywhere in general, we are here to serve.